Hello, and welcome to this recording from Support Cambridgeshire, a partnership of Cambridge CVS and Hunts Forum. This module is one of several recordings we've developed to help people who are considering setting up or developing a charity. This session is introducing the idea of business planning to make sure you get the best possible result with the resources you have. Business planning involves looking ahead to what the charity wants to achieve over the next 1 to 3 years, rather than being a detailed operational plan or a much longer strategic plan. Once agreed, a business plan gives your committee something to work with to help maintain focus and to share with others such as supporters and potential funders. If you're considering registering your charity with the Charity Commission, it can be helpful to include a business plan with your application. The guidance links available in the transcript you'll find alongside this recording will provide you with all the materials we mention. This includes resources to create a business plan, and this session will take you through some of the main things you will need to think about. Planning involves knowing what you want to achieve, for who, how and when. There's no set format for a business plan, but typically it will cover background to the charity and operating environment, the aims the charity will focus on during the lifetime of the plan, financing the plan, risks associated with the plan, and evaluating performance. Background content includes the charity's name, legal status, how it began and its charitable objects as outlined in its governing document. An example charitable object might be to improve the conditions of life for local people through social welfare and recreation. This part of the plan would also cover your vision, which are your hopes and ambitions for the future. An example of a vision might be we want a town where all older people have the opportunity to live fulfilled lives. Your mission, which outlines why you exist. An example of a mission might be to find the expertise and resources to support the social inclusion of older people in our town. Values act as a guide as to how you will achieve your mission. For example, we're going to be client focused, supportive of each other. Intended outcomes are the differences that need to take place to deliver your mission. An example of an outcome is that older people in the community feel less lonely. For more information on outcomes, see the guidance links. You should also include the relevant skills and experience of your team and any existing strategy. This is a long-term plan, 5 years plus, for the charity. If you have developed a strategy, include a summary of it in your business plan. There is a link to a guide on strategic planning at the end of this document. Looking at your group's operating environment, you will need to show evidence of what is needed most, what else is available locally, and ask local people what they want. The group could research people's views and might ask for the views of other groups and organisations offering support in the community. It might also be appropriate to look for published data showing evidence of needs, such as information from the census. There are links to data sources in the transcript. You also need to think about your resources. How many people do you have to help? Whether you need to find more people, what skills do you need, what facilities you have access to, and what funds you're likely to be able to raise. There are many planning tools available to help your organisation identify the additional resources that are needed to help you deliver your identified outcomes. Some of these tools are referred to in the transcript links, and we'll look at a couple in the next few slides. A SWOT analysis is one of the most straightforward tools and is intended to help you assess the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats facing your organisation. A PESTLE analysis will help you review the wider context you operate within. We've provided guidance links for both these tools. The group's research will help steer how they prioritise what they do over the next 1 to 3 years. Their aims are expressed as broad statements of intent. For example, the research might show that people living alone with limited money and mobility might want more opportunities to meet with others to reduce their loneliness. Therefore, one aim of the group might be the development of activities for older people in our community identified as socially isolated by March 2026. To track the charity's performance in meeting an aim, you can set some milestones. These are significant steps towards achieving your aim. An example of a milestone might be there is a 25% increase in the number of older people engaging in community activities by October 2024. Your objectives are how you will progress towards your aims. They should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic and timely so that you can track your progress. An example of an objective might be we will develop a community car scheme offering 20 lifts a week by September 2023. The NCVO provide guidance on setting objectives, and you can find a link to this information in a transcript. Your group should develop activities that you have reason to think will deliver the aims and outcomes you want to achieve, and then market them to your intended beneficiaries and those that support and advise them. Our example group are looking at activities that will bring people who are socially isolated together and help them feel less lonely. Your business plan will include a summary of your activities and how you market them, leaving the detail to your operational plan. Most charities are funded through a combination of funding sources. Ideally, the funding should be spread across potential funding streams to avoid over-reliance on one area. Donations, for example, might be small one-off payments in response to a collection, regular donations through direct debits, or legacies from wills. You may also be able to apply to grant funders. Grants tend to be restricted to fund projects that meet the funder's priorities, although some funders will fund general running costs. Your charity may be able to sell some goods or services relevant to its charitable objects and use the profits from this trading income to fund charitable activities. Or you might be funded by statutory commissioners to deliver a service. Your business plan should consider which of these funding sectors you will pursue and how. A budget is an essential planning tool. It's an estimate of your income and expenditure for a set period. It's your realistic best guess of what's going to happen. It's not set in stone, and it will need to be adjusted as necessary with the agreement of the committee. The slide shows an example of a rolling budget for the 3 years covered by the business plan. The notes state the key assumptions being made. For more information about creating a budget, see recording 5 of this series. All organisations face risk, and a business plan needs to address this. To manage organisational risk, those managing the group need to think more broadly, identifying the possible risks, their likelihood, and the impact that they would have. They then need to assess ways to reduce them. As an example of a governance risk, a committee member neglects or forgets to mention that they have a close family member who will receive a financial benefit from a decision the charity has made. This is a conflict of interest, and if unaddressed could lead to allegations of corruption and potentially invalidate the organisation's decision-making process. A group reduces the risk of this occurring by following good practice, for example maintaining a conflict of interest register and making declaration of any conflict a standing item at each meeting. Other areas of risks might be operational risk, for example, difficulty finding volunteers to run activities, financial risks such as the lack of funds to pay bills, external risk, for example, reduced donations due to cost of living pressures on supporters, and regulatory risk, such as anticipated changes in legislation resulting in increased costs. The Charity Commission provide a risk register template to help charities assess these sorts of risks, and this link can be found in the transcript. The key policies and procedures shown here help mitigate risk. Get in touch with us if you require support with these policies and procedures. Finally, you will want to know that the activities you are running are achieving their goals. Ideally, you'll collect feedback for each of the activities you're running and pull these findings together to give you an overall picture of your progress against your stated objectives. In our community group example, the group will want to know that the people in their community are coming on to their activities and feeling less lonely. To find this out, they could measure numbers taking part and ask people for postcodes so they can check if they're local. They could ask those attending or a sample of them some questions to establish if they're feeling lonely. The campaign to end loneliness have produced 3 brief questions groups can ask. The group could then ask the same people the same questions periodically to see if there's change. Depending on the result, the group may decide to amend their activities and continue to monitor them. The group may also undertake a survey of local people to obtain their views on the group's activities. There is a guidance link below which includes the measurement tool developed by the Campaign to End Loneliness, and there are lots of other measurement tools you can use, and these are shown in the guidance links in the transcript. And you can also contact us for help. To find out more and for further help and guidance, please contact us at info@supportcambridgeshire.org.uk.